This happened years ago. I married the wrong woman. My ex is internally a very angry person and wanted to be very controlling, usually in varying dramatic ways. And eventually, years of this caused our divorce. Together we had 3 boys, and 4 years apart. My eldest was 9 when the divorce happened. My ex took them to her parents' house, a 20-minute drive from the house I had built 10 years prior. She burned my house down not long after, while I was at work. No one was hurt, and I have no real proof it was her. Nothing really came of it. The fire was suspicious, but it was in the days before the doorbell cameras. I think she just lit a massive fire in the fireplace, so I left. I had a job that was very specialized, in high demand generally everywhere, and back then you could get a job with a smile and a handshake. First, I went to a major city in Canada, saved cash for about a year, and then moved to a small town, about 2,500 kilometers from home. In this small town, I kept the same job, met another woman, and had 1 child together. She and I are still married. My kids from my previous marriage would come to stay with us for summers during school break. I thought they enjoyed the summers. They built go-karts and raced them for 1 year. We were always camping, etc. My eldest dropped out of high school at home, and my younger 2 from the previous marriage eventually moved in with us for their last high school years. They grew up. They've had children. I have 10 grandchildren, and they're starting to grow up too. My youngest son from my current marriage called my youngest son for support after dealing with me on a particularly bad day. I'm old and sick and dying. My youngest thinks his older brothers hold a great deal of resentment towards him for being my replacement family and me for leaving them with a mother who didn't spend child support on things like electricity or running water. I haven't spoken to my oldest children about my conversation with my youngest yet. I'm unsure if I should bring it up or let them if they want to. I felt justified in my decision, but I'm no longer sure I'm at peace with it. Am I the idiot for leaving my ex-wife and kids and moving to another country? You are the idiot. If your wife was a violently unstable pyromaniac who starved the kids, why not take them in with you or rescue them at any point? I assume her behavior was also known by others or documented. You knew your wife was too unstable for you, but you didn't even think about your kids? What was he supposed to do? She moved them 20 whole minutes away. Poor OP. Deep down, he just wanted to walk away and start over. OP is an idiot who brags about being able to get a job at any city he wants and then picks a city half a country away from his children. And when he was settled, he didn't even try to fight for his kids' custody. OP's not so innocent here. He's trying to look like this big hero, but all I read is ego, ego, ego. The saddest part is that OP didn't see this. His son from the new mother did. Just how absent from these kids were you? No one should stay in a crappy marriage. But if you know your ex-partner has issues, if you legit think she burned down your house, you have an obligation to your children to check in regularly and ensure that they're safe and provided for. Ever think your oldest dropped out of school because he was living with an unstable parent and heartbroken that the only decent parent, he had abandoned him and his younger brothers with what sounds like a psychopath? Dude, let's not pretend you were blind to this fact. You wanted a new life and you got it. You left your kids. You weren't a father to your kids. You deserve the resentment. It's important to apologize for leaving them with the lousy mom and to let the kids express how it affected them and apologize for every pain it caused them. They spent a lifetime being hurt by a harmful parent and a lifetime being hurt by a neglectful parent. They may need to hear you say you're sorry many, many, many times over. So yeah, you are the idiot. Try apologizing to your kids before you pass, for them and yourself. I, 26 female, have been pretty lucky regarding inheritance. I'm the oldest of my siblings, but I have a different dad, and I'm the only child he had. Despite him being a piece of crap I didn't know very well, I inherited everything he had. I sold the properties in another state and used the money I had to buy 2 properties. My place, a bush property, and a house closer to the city with 2 granny flats, the house my parents, siblings, and a few uncles, aunts, and cousins live in rent-free. I did this because we grew up poor and thought this would be a good idea. To the actual event, I got a call from my aunt saying that they were going to report my dog and hybrid for attacking my cousin unless I give them money for medical bills. In the country we live in, healthcare is free. I hung up immediately and checked my cameras, and lo and behold, my cousin was on my property the night before trying to break into my shed. My dog chased him down, but did not attack him whatsoever. The idiot jumped over a barbed wire fence and tried to pin it on the dog. Right now, I'm refusing, as I know it won't go anywhere, and my dog is safe. But my family, including my parents, are trying to tell me to pay up, or they'll report my dog. After that, I just told them if they do, they could all be out on the streets. I've got the eviction notice prepared, just in case. I don't care that it won't go anywhere, but it's the fact that they think it will and are actively trying to get my dog put down. I'm feeling like an idiot about it though, since there are some young kids in that house that I love to bits. Am I the idiot? Also, for clarification, my bush property, where I live, is a good 6 hours away from the other house. The idiot probably went through more petrol than what was even potentially worth stealing in that shed. Not the idiot. Your cousin was trying to steal from you, and they're blackmailing you with the threat of potentially having your dog taken away or put down if you don't give them money. These people are bad news and will continue to hurt you. Don't threaten them. Get them off of your property. Ungrateful idiots. Exactly. There will be another incident for sure. They think OP owes them just because she has something that they don't. The free housing was a mistake. Evict them now before they fall down the stairs and sue you as the property owner or worse. They could do so much damage and seem the type to do it. I'd report your idiot cousin to the police for the attempted robbery and then tell the rest of your family that you have cameras and they caught what really happened. Don't worry, I'm planning on filing a police report and turning the footage over to the police. That footage shows my dog didn't attack him and he just ran him off. The idiot cut himself on barbed wire while trying to get out of my yard. I do hope he's up to date on his tetanus. Call their bluff. Then watch your family change their tune to either being angry with you for wanting to go to the police or angry at him for lying. I'm comfortable and financially accommodated. I don't earn a high salary, but my job brings me enormous stability and is calm and stress-free. I turned down several offers with higher salaries because of this. Honestly, I already have a paid-off house, inheritance from my late father. I don't use a car enough to buy one, and my salary covers all of my expenses, and I even managed to save money. My parents, stepfather who raised me, and mother don't accept this. According to them, I'm wasting my talent on a horrible paying job. With my ability and enormous experience, I could find jobs that would pay 3 times more. I've tried talking to them both together and separately, telling them it bothers me, but it's always been fruitless. So every time I'm with them, I try my best to avoid this subject. An important fact, my stepfather had a serious gambling problem 5 years ago, and because of that, he and my mother had to postpone retirement and constantly work overtime to fix the hole left, even after 5 years, and they don't cut back on spending. The situation. Saturday, there was a barbecue celebrating my parents' 20-year marriage. My cousin was hired at a job similar to mine and earning more. Because of that, my parents kept saying the whole barbecue, "See, it's the same job, and she's earning more, blah, blah." Maybe it was the beers I drank that day, but at one point, I just said, after another comparison, "Look, If you guys have to get bogged down with work to pay off your irresponsible debts, that's fine, but I'm not. I have nothing to worry about, so just stop. My mother was embarrassed, and my stepfather said a lot of crap to me. I had to leave afterward because of the tension, but several relatives sent messages saying that I shouldn't have exposed this situation to others and that I embarrassed my parents for simply worrying about me. My parents have yet to talk to me. My brother agrees that maybe it was too much, but that my parents deserved it. Am I the idiot? I'm sorry. What you said to your parents was pretty mild. If they're bent out of shape from that little comment, it may be high time they heard the sentiment. And don't feel bad for defending your perfectly reasonable and responsible life choices. Of course you have to stand up for yourself. Not the idiot at all. They should have kept their thoughts to themselves because it's your life and not theirs. Also, your relative's response of, your parents are just worried about you, is BS. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems your parents see you as a possible ATM for their old age. So if you earn more, they can ask you to help them. Being worried can be okay, but after you tell them you're in a good position in your life and to stop, I see no reason to continue bringing it up, especially during a celebration of their marriage. Ask those who said this, worrying about me how? I earn enough money to cover my means and have no debt. I even have savings. My parents are in debt due to stepdad's gambling and now will have to work well beyond retirement. You're all worrying about the wrong people. Your stepdad can't criticize you about your horrible paying job and your salary if he and his wife are drowning in their shopping and gambling addiction. They're throwing stones in a glass house. My mom died when I, teen female, was 11 weeks old. My parents were pretty young when they had me, 25 and 26 respectively, and my dad remarried a little over a year later. When I was 3, my younger sister was born, and my parents and maternal family ended up feuding over my maternal family, not wanting to form a relationship with my sister and saying they would not treat us equally. My stepmom adopted me to sever contact with my maternal side of the family, but my maternal grandparents went to court for grandparents' visitation rights, which they were granted. Until I was 12, I saw my grandparents 1 day a month, 2 days a month on my birthday month, and at Christmas, when my dad was obligated to let me see them around the Christmas period. I grew up very close to my maternal family, and when I was 12, Dad started letting me dictate how much contact I had with them. I know he didn't like it, but he allowed it because he sensed I would resent being kept from them when I was so closely bonded with them. It has never bothered me that they didn't want to form a relationship with my sister. I get why they would feel that way, and I understand why to them, my stepmom and sister are not a part of their family. For me, it's no big deal. It does upset my sister, but I've always assured her that I love her and she's not going to lose me. I explained to her that my mom died before I could even get to know her, and that it's nice being with people who were very close to her, and that I can ask them questions I can't ask my dad. She didn't understand that because my stepmom had adopted me. She believed for so long that it meant my mom was no longer my mom at all, and I became her mom's daughter completely. My maternal family all planned for this big family vacation in July. They expressed an interest in me going and approached my dad about it. My parents brought it up to me and stated that they didn't want me to go, that when my sister heard about it, she got very upset and wondered why they still didn't want her now that she's a teen and could go and not be a burden on them. They said they'd let me go, but they wanted it clear that I would be breaking my sister's heart. My stepmom also told me that she wanted me to consider the fact that she had adopted and loved me and accepted me as her daughter, and that I still called her stepmom after all these years of not knowing my mom. She suggested that my maternal family was the reason for that, and that it would have been kinder for me to not have any form of attachment to my mom when I could never get to know her, and to allow me to see her stepmom as my only mom. I chose to go on the vacation, and I had a great time. My sister was upset, and she even cried a few times afterward. She asked why I left her behind. Why do I let her be left out all the time? My parents also kept their word, but I can tell they were disappointed in me. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is emotional blackmail. I would even say that your family's being toxic and controlling. You need to hang in there and be yourself. Feel and think for yourself. Sweetie, you did the right thing. Please don't let them manipulate and isolate you from half of your family. Agree. It's super sad that they're trying to manipulate you into not seeing your mom's family, and it sounds super toxic, to be honest. It sounds like your stepmom feels jealous that your mom is somehow still in your dad's life, and therefore is indulging your sister's insecurities to pressure you into doing what she wants. I'd just go live with my maternal family if it carries on. Don't let them erase your mother. This situation is sad because it didn't have to be this way. Your dad and stepmom have mishandled this, and if your sister's crying, that's your parents' fault, not yours. You've been pretty mature about this whole thing while they've been fostering unreal expectations in your sister. I hope your sister gets some counseling. Tell your parents to step up and stop feeding into her jealousy. Doesn't she have maternal grandparents that aren't yours? Make it clear to your father, too, that your mother would be ashamed of the way he's treated you. My 20, boyfriend 25, has always been very interested in dinosaurs and pretty much anything related to them. He told me a few months ago that he really wanted a dinosaur-themed birthday party when he was a child, but his parents didn't let him. He talked about how he went to a dinosaur party when he was 8-ish and how jealous he was. So for his 25th birthday, I threw him a dino party. Jurassic Park soundtrack, dino cake, fossil cookies, dino balloons, and themed drinks, excavating tiny bottles of booze, a T-Rex piñata. You get the idea. I invited ours plus his friends and let them know that it might be a little silly or childish, but it was my idea based on his story. Everyone seemed to have a good time, drinking and eating a lot of snacks. My boyfriend was smiling the whole night and told me that night that he loved that I did that for him and that he had a great time. Fast forward a few days. Apparently, some of his friends thought it was stupid and childish and told him so and made fun of him. When he came home that day, he told me that I was out of line throwing him such a childish party and that I should have just thrown a normal party or asked explicit permission. He's been upset with me for making him look stupid. Am I the idiot for throwing a dino party for my adult boyfriend? Not the idiot, but your boyfriend sure is. He was all happy and fine until some of his idiot friends belittled him. You should tell him to be thankful you have a kind and loving girlfriend and dump his sorry excuse for friends. They're just jealous they don't have an awesome girlfriend like you. Honestly, I'd ask very specifically who these people were. If I saw my friend happy and smiling on their birthday, I'd tell him OP was a keeper. The only reason I can think of to belittle that party is wanting them to break up. Boyfriend is insecure, listening to the wrong people, and handled this like an idiot. But my question is, who exploited his insecurity by telling him OP made fun of him by throwing a thoughtful and fun party? I, 49 female, would get a kick out of a dinosaur party, and I'm not into dinos much. I recall going through a long phase in my teens and 20s where I was desperate to shed childish things and appear like an adult. He needs to appreciate the love and effort you put into this for him. This kind of thing doesn't happen to many people. He found a really caring girlfriend. Don't ever stop being that person, even if you end up with someone else. It's special. Also, I'm writing this in my home filled with comics, games, and Star Trek stuff everywhere because this is what I love, and I'll let no one shame me into conformity. Personally, I would have just thrown a small party with just the two of you instead of a whole group of people. He did say that it was a childhood dream he had, but I have to give credit. According to what you said, you went all out and made it a really fun time. Unfortunately, it sounds like your boyfriend is insecure because what he should have done was back you up and say, "My girlfriend went all out for a party that we all enjoyed. If you didn't like it, next time I won't invite you," etc., etc. Not the idiot. Keep on rocking it.